G'day everyone. So, I have covered a few obscure Transformers fan games, from Broken Destiny to Robots Warfare, and we're back once again to talk about another, simply called the Transformers. So, this top-down shooter developed by Chris Leader in RPG Maker takes place during the G1 era after the Autobots crash land into Earth, and must come together to thwart Megatron and the Decepticons from stealing the Earth's precious resources. Very simple and straight to the point, this is just the generic G1 stereotype kind of story. So, throughout the 5 main levels of this game, it sees you taking control of one of many Autobots and allows you to move up, down, left and right, as well as the ability to shoot and transform. Some characters even have better stats in vehicle mode, so choosing the right Autobot for the job can prove crucial, but we'll touch on that just a little later. Now the mechanics may sound straightforward, but actually trying to use them can be very difficult, as you can only shoot in the direction you're facing, in addition to having a very limited range. So it is very easy for the Decepticon you're attacking to land a hit on you if you're not careful. Should you be hit, you can find Energon in certain areas of the map to heal you, but they are very limited and can sometimes be hard to find. The other item that you may find in the game is a Matrix, which unlocks a new character for you to play once you complete the level, and some of them are in very sneaky locations. Kinda like the collectibles back in the War for Cybertron DS games. Speaking of, let us talk about the bots that we can play as. So, the first ones we can play as are Optimus, Ironhide and Bumblebee, with the rest becoming unlockable after collecting those matrices I mentioned earlier. So, all 3 have a standard move speed in robot mode and the ability to shoot, but in alt mode, Ironhide and Optimus trade their speed for near invulnerability, and I'm pretty sure Optimus is practically invincible as a truck. Bumblebee, on the other hand, confused me as he had no speed change or deflection. That is until you notice that he starts to heal himself in vehicle form, which is pretty OP in this game, and a shame that I didn't notice this sooner. The rest of the characters we'll get to as we go throughout the story, but there are a maximum of 8 Autobots to play as, which is a neat roster. But you can play as some other Autobots and even Decepticons in some of the other modes that this game has. But for now, let's get on to our first mission. So, the very first mission has the Autobots fight against a horde of Insecticons who are attempting to steal energy from the Sherman Dam, and it is your goal to get there first. So, some things to note about this game is that the level maps are quite large, and if you stray against the path, you can become a little disorientated, but that's not a bad thing, as there are Energon cubes scattered throughout, as well as the Matrix you have to collect, which in this level is hidden right here between these trees. Also, there is no requirement to take down any of the Insecticons. You can simply just drive past them and speed all the way to the dam, which is often a smart thing as you are far less likely to take any damage. Not to mention that some don't even attack. Once we make it to the dam, it is revealed that the Insecticons were just a distraction, so that Megatron and Soundwave could harvest the energy for themselves. Meaning that our first boss battle is against Soundwave and his cassettes. First up is Rumble, who will try to rain rocks on top of you, which will always hit no matter how fast you're moving, so best to take care of him quick. Next is Ravage and Laserbeak, where Ravage will hunt you down, while Laserbeak kinda does his own thing. Ravage is particularly annoying as you have to get distance, then turn and shoot and make distance again, while avoiding Laserbeak in the corner of the screen. Once they're defeated, Soundwave becomes rightfully pissed and viciously stalks and shoots at you, making it very difficult to retaliate. I'm not gonna lie, I died to Soundwave so many times that I had to walk away and come back again. Once he is defeated, the level is complete, and if you grabbed that matrix, you would have unlocked Jazz, who was incredibly fast in vehicle mode, maybe a bit too fast for my liking. But before I get ahead of myself, let's go ahead to mission 2. So, the Autobots learned that while they were at the dam, the Decepticons were preparing an assault on the Ark with their new siege cannons, leading Optimus to go on the offensive and have us take out their 5 generators before they have a chance to strike. This is a pretty straightforward level with a fair few enemies. However, if you have Jazz, you should be able to make your way through relatively unscathed. Also, I'd like to point out that the blaster sound used by the Decepticons I'm pretty sure is the same ones from the DS games. After all are destroyed, we head south to the siege cannons, but we learn that Megatron already has enough energy for their assault, and begins firing the cannons on the Ark. Our new goal is to destroy these cannons before all is lost. Mind you, there is no timer despite what Optimus tells you. Once all the cannons are down and you retrieve the matrix hidden down here, you then face off against the mighty Starscream, who has a much longer range than you and can fly around trying to take you out in the air. Once he takes a bit of damage, he will call Thundercracker and Skywarp to fly across the screen to shoot you down, so hopefully you're good with dodging because you're going to need it. And for some reason my game bugged as my health would not drop below 1 after the first death, which is convenient but kinda takes the charm out of the boss fight. Almost forgot, but from this matrix we would unlock Grimlock, who can fire powerful flames while in dinosaur mode. So, after Starscream's defeat, Spike and Bumblebee are captured by the Constructicons, leading the Autobots into the city to rescue them. Now this map is large and with multiple different routes depending on which Constructicon you follow. However, before you travel too far, make sure you head up first and go down this little sneaky alley to grab that matrix. However, if you keep going up, you'll find yourself in a construction site where you have to play hide and seek with the Constructicons amongst other construction vehicles. Thankfully it's very easy because all of them are green. Also, you can completely skip this section if you want, but if you feel like taking out your frustration on these Decepticons, that's entirely up to you. Having found them all, the Constructicons have had enough and finally merge into Devastator.
Now, transform! Phase 2!
Now this was the most confusing boss so far, as the only way to do damage is to get right in front of him and shoot when this little light flashes that actually allows you to shoot Devastator in the face. Which I'm going to be honest was not a very easy thing to work out, and thankfully Vagio's playthrough came in clutch, or else I would have been stuck here for quite a while. Also, you can't attack from behind either, believe me, I tried. Once you have devastated Devastator, Spike and Bumblebee emerge, thankful for your arrival. Unfortunately, the Autobots learn that Megatron has constructed a new space bridge and is headed for Cybertron with ultra-potent Energon, which he could use to claim victory once and for all. So, the Autobots head out to Omega Supreme in the hope that he can transport them to Cybertron. Unfortunately though, he is missing 4 parts that you must collect before he's ready for takeoff. Yep, it's a scavenger hunt. Woo! We all love those, don't we? So, if you grabbed that matrix in the last level, you would have unlocked Blaster, who comes quite in handy in this level, as when he transforms, you can walk around as a boombox, which is quite funny, but his actual skill is deploying either Steeljaw or Ramhorn. Both of these have only 1 hit point and deal damage by running into the enemies, with Steeljaw being very fast, while Ramhorn having a chance to ignore damage. And it's cute that they have to return back to Blaster before he can transform again. Anyway, once you've retrieved all 4 parts from the left, right and down paths, which, by the way, the matrix is at the very bottom of the down path, Omega will be ready to shoot off into the stars. But wait, because the level's not done yet. Because Megatron has activated Cybertron's automated defences, requiring us to pilot Omega Supreme in a side-scroller as we destroy drones and dodge all sorts of projectiles until we reach Iacon. Now be wary as you only have 1 health, but you can pick up power-ups to increase your weapon range or to protect yourself with a shield. Oh, and also that matrix allowed us to unlock Hot Rod, who we will talk about a bit later, but for now, let's head to the final mission as we arrive at Iacon. Oh boy, have I not forgotten this mission. As this one I remember dying to over and over and over again as literally every Decepticon and Centurion is thrown your way. So, you can only play as Optimus and you get a choice of heading right to go confront Megatron, or you can go down first to grab the last Matrix. If you head for the Matrix, you'll have to dodge some lasers and eventually make your way to a large room that will lower the door once you shoot these monitors. But watch out, as they also unleash a horde of Centurions to hunt you down. Now, if you are able to grab that Matrix and survive, you have to walk all the way back to the start and then head right to further the mission. By the way, I hope you still have full health, as you're going to need it, as the room on the right is a trap full of Centurions. Once they are all destroyed, you have to shoot this panel to escape, but the next room is full of Decepticons who you also have to destroy before the final door will open. Once through, Optimus meets up with the rest of the Autobots, who inform him that Megatron is nearby, but Optimus decides to face him alone. In this room, we see rows and rows of ultra-potent Energon, with Megatron awaiting you at the end of the corridor. He tells of how he has siphoned a concentrated dose of this Ultra Energon, which he plans to use to overpower the Autobots and then rule Cybertron. So, this roided out Megatron is one tough fight, as he has a much longer range than you, can move quite quickly, especially when he wants to slap you, and can turn into a gun shooting in all directions. Oh, and there's no health recovery either, so if you lose, you have to start the level all over again, including getting that Matrix. However, it's not too bad if you remember that Optimus is practically invincible in vehicle form, allowing you to basically ignore all the Decepticons like it's a regular Sunday drive. Or, even faster, if you don't mind skipping the Matrix, is to clip through this secret path that takes you straight to the Megatron boss fight, full health and all, which once again, I would not have known if it wasn't thanks to Vagio. Once you do take down Megatron, he begins to succumb to the unstable properties of his Ultra Energon, which horrifyingly becomes like an acid. Optimus does offer to treat his condition, but Megatron declines, preferring to explode with his pride than be cured, which I would have loved to see occur in one of the actual G1 episodes or in another Transformers story. But with that, the day is saved and we roll credits, seeing all the different sprites used for each of the different Transformers. But before we leave story mode behind, let's talk about that final character we unlocked, Springer, who is a triple changer that has a decent speed as a car, but most importantly, the ability to fly, which allows you to go over all terrain, skipping almost any fight, and see things that I don't think many were meant to find, such as a sneaky sound wave with his cassettes, random enemies, hidden energon, and a random rain of lasers. Also, I noticed a random matrix out of reach after I messed around with Springer, which really got me thinking what would happen if you could reach it, but unfortunately this level only lets you play as Optimus. Strangely too, I found that replaying the second level after messing around with him would cause Starscream to completely abandon the fight and skip straight to the third mission. Personally, I just like to think of it as a lore-accurate bug. So, aside from the main story, there are still some other games we can play, such as the Skirmish Mode, the Dinobots Minigame, as well as the bonus battles. In Skirmish Mode, it allows you to play as any Autobot or Decepticon that you have unlocked so far, in either the Ark or City locations. If you choose to play as a Decepticon, you will fight a lot of Autobots that have been unused in the game, which you can destroy to your leisure, and once again many have flying modes which can get you stuck in the terrain if you're not careful. Or you can play as Megatron and transform into a gun. Also, Soundwave, like Blaster, can deploy either Ravage or Laserbeak, with Ravage being like Steeljaw, while Laserbeak can fly and shoot around, which is pretty cool. In this mode, the Dinobots get sent to Dinobot Island to recover 10 crystals of Energon X before Megatron can get his hands on them. This mission is just a big scavenger hunt, but its true charm is just wandering around the different biomes with actual dinos as you slash and burn any Decepticons you come across. Also, this mode has one of my favourite tracks that I could listen to all day. And once you've successfully completed the minigame, you can replay it as Swoop, who allows you to fly anywhere you want. Well, until it crashed in the game, that is. Finally, the last mode consists of two iconic battles in Transformers history, with the first being the final battle between Hot Rod and Galvatron over control of the Matrix. In this, you play as Hot Rod, who you would have unlocked in the campaign from retrieving that Matrix from earlier. Hot Rod has the fastest alt mode in the game, literally zipping from one end to the next, which he'll need as this fight is a reskin of the final Megatron fight, but with all that practice with Megatron, Galvatron isn't too bad. At the end, we recreate the end of the movie, with Rodimus throwing Galvatron out of Unicron as he unleashes the power of the Matrix. However, if you take Hot Rod into story mode, his vehicle mode is buffed significantly, as it gains Ironhide's deflection and Bumblebee's healing, which is simply OP. Alternatively, you can play Clash of the Titans, which is where you can play as either Metroplex or Trypticon as they duel it out to the death. Now each mode has its own strategic element, with Robot mode being the fastest, Battle Station having a chance to deflect damage, and City mode allows you to slowly regain health at the cost of your mobility. Overall, it's a fun little battle where you can even interact with the environment in many destructive ways. And with that, this has been the Transformers, a simple yet incredibly fun game that surprisingly has a fair bit more content than I was expecting. And it is nice to play with a decent roster of characters, despite their simplicity, but the quirks with their alt modes is just enough of a difference to make them all unique. It is a shame that there is no Decepticon campaign, but hey, at least we can play as them in other modes, unlike certain other games. Regardless, I really enjoyed this game, and hopefully you will too, but I would firstly like to thank Ragio for being one of the few channels to have any upload of this game, as it helped me out tremendously, especially with that Devastator fight. Also, I'd like to thank Dark the Moon Barricade 3424, as they were once again the ones to suggest this game which I never knew existed. So I hope you all enjoyed, and until next time, bye bye.